Prime Video released Red One yesterday, a Christmas fantasy action comedy. Is it worth your time? Let's explore. Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son talk about fantasy, science fiction, horror, and other nerdy things we enjoy. I'm Jim, the father of that show. I'm here today to talk to you about a movie that I recently watched. If you enjoy this, as I surely hope you do, give us a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. We've got well over 1,000 videos here for you to watch, and we're now in season 5 of this channel, so we're going to just keep bringing stuff for your entertainment. So, Red One. It's a Christmas movie produced by MGM Studios, which is now a subsidiary of Amazon, as Amazon Studios and MGM merged back in 2023. This movie was filmed from late 2022 through early 2023, and while it was originally going to be released in 2023, there was some Screen Actors Guild strike, you might remember, delayed things. So here we finally got it in theaters last month, November 2024. It was a significant financial flop. Yeah, it tanked. I mean, it grossed 167 million worldwide. I mean, that sounds like a lot of money, right? Unfortunately, they had a budget of 200 million, which ballooned to closer to 250 million due to delays, issues. Rumor has it one of the actors was often late for filming, and then you're just sitting around paying people for nothing. So it had challenges, but they got the movie done, and then the critics didn't like it. It received mostly negative reviews. Now that I've watched it, I have to admit, I don't get it. Not the movie. I found that to be delightful, a hoot, thoroughly entertaining, and right in my wheelhouse. I don't get why the movie failed so badly. I strongly recommend you go watch this film this holiday season. It's streaming now on Prime Video. I think it might even still be in theaters in some locations. It's got so much positive going for it. My wife and I, we just got comfortable on the couch last night and let's watch a fun flick. And that's exactly what we got. We were never bored. We laughed considerably, and we found the movie to be a high-quality production. I think the critics are wrong, but maybe they were looking for something that the movie just isn't. Let's talk about this. What's the movie about? The basic plot of the film, no heavy spoilers here, is about a guy named Jack. We first meet him as a child, and then we jump ahead into the future for the majority of the film where he's a grown man. A man who had a less than positive childhood and grew up to become a rather cynical loser who actually has some skill. There's one area he's particularly savvy, and that's as a hacker and tracker. If you need to find someone, Jack is your guy. He can get pretty much anybody located. That's his shtick, and he will do it for whoever will pay him the most. He has no allegiance to anyone except himself. This even shows up in the fact that he has a son who he's never there for. Again, Jack cares about Jack. Unfortunately, this particular talent that he has as a hacker and tracker gets him caught up in a sticky situation here because he gets paid to do a job. He doesn't know what the job's about, but of course he does the job. He does it well, and it allows bad guys to track down and kidnap Santa Claus. Yep. The day before Christmas, Santa is gone. The movie then draws us into a world where many of the myths of old are actually quite real, and government and world organizations, they know all about this, and they work to manage and protect these secrets of the world. And Jack, well, he's brought in to help put things right because he's the one who helped make things so wrong right now. The movie's packed with entertaining action scenes and well-written comedic dialogue, while managing to also include a little bit of time for a significant side plot about Jack and his son, a relationship that's rather a mess and definitely needs help, and that certainly fits into the Christmas vibe when we're talking about a holiday film. Want to know more about it? Why would someone kidnap Santa? Do they save Christmas? You're going to have to watch the film for that. No spoilers here, people. But here's four takeaway thoughts I have after reflecting upon this movie that I did enjoy. One, it's got a great cast. Jack is played by Chris Evans, who turns in another solid and very entertaining performance. Different than I've seen him in other roles. He's not the strong leading man necessarily in this. He's kind of a schmuck, and yet he owns it and he plays it really well. St. Nick, good old Santa, is delivered in a delightful and fresh way by J.K. Simmons. He seems to be popping up more and more these days. He's getting around well for a 69-year-old, and everything I see him in just entertains. Then we've got Santa's bodyguard, played by the key attractor for this film, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne Johnson is just Dwayne Johnson in this film. But that's what we come for. So if you're looking for some nuanced acting here, you're not going to get that. He's doing himself. He's doing what he does. But we pay money to see that, and he does it well. I found that his portrayal of Santa's bodyguard landed just right. Lucy Liu has a smaller but still prominent role that she perfectly nails in this movie. And then Kiernan Shipka, someone I'm not as familiar with, but those of a younger demographic definitely recognize her from a number of things. She plays the primary antagonist with a delightful bad guy vibe. She leans into all the right tropes, and I thought she was spectacular. These headliners, they work with a terrific overall ensemble cast and deliver a spectacular good time for viewers. My second takeaway, there's spectacular production value in this movie. I mean, it's a fantasy flick. There's so much that happens that is outside of reality, totally wouldn't happen, but they do it really well. The CGI is quite cool. It supports the story, not just glitz and glamour. I mean, it actually leans into the kinds of things they're trying to tell on the screen. I thought the special effects, from the little small details to the big action-packed ones, all were done quite nicely, and I enjoyed them. They're not limited to the big action scenes. There's so many little details that are done with special effects that they spent some money on this film. I mean, that's why the budget is what it is, besides how much I think they had to pay to Dwayne Johnson. And we've got some great character effects when we're talking special effects. The Winter Witch, Krampus, to see these characters on the screen, really nicely done. And then the reindeer. I mean, look at the graphic. These reindeer are amazing. And Santa's sled, his sleigh, you got to see it to believe it. Then the action scenes. Let's talk about those. This is a movie that has both The Rock and Captain America. Okay, guys who are no strangers to action sequences. And they deliver. They know how to play their roles in these kinds of scenes. The production value, the cinematography of the action sequences, blending in CGI as much as appropriate. This massive combination delivered many great moments of action. My final takeaway is I felt this movie nails the right tone for the kind of film they were trying to create. This is a movie that tells the story it wants to tell, while not taking itself too seriously. It's an action comedy that gives you the sense of tension and mystery that you don't really feel. The actors feel it, and they portray it. But you know everything's going to work out in the end, and that's what a holiday film is all about. When we're talking Christmas films, you're not on the edge of your seat going, oh, I hope it works out. You know it's going to work out. So they own that. The stakes never really feel that high as you're watching the movie, even as particular characters are freaking out and it's the end of the world. So this just allows us to go along, enjoy the story, have a fun ride. Overall, a great time. And that's exactly what a Christmas action comedy should be. So finally, my recommendation to you about this film, I'm really disappointed that this movie did poorly in the theaters. It had potential. I mean, I understand they actually were thinking this could kick off a series of films in a related genre. I mean, maybe there'd been the Easter Bunny movie, a new Tooth Fairy. I think Dwayne Johnson was tied to one of those already. But there could have been a whole thing with mythological characters. But since it's a financial flop, we'll probably never get those. And it's just a shame because this was cool. This was fun. Is this a movie that you'll watch year after year, soon to become a staple of the holiday films that we watch on repeat? Certainly not. It's not that kind of movie. But if you want to get out the caramel corn, hot chocolate, spiked or not, your preference, and just relax into a silly holiday movie, this is the perfect film for the season. Trust me, check it out. All right, that's where I'll leave you today. Have you seen this movie already? What did you think of Red One? Did you find it as entertaining as I did, or are you with the critics and think, man, this thing was a waste of your time? Put your thoughts down in the comments. If you haven't seen it yet, I hope I've inspired you to check it out. You will have a good time, unless you're looking for a serious movie, because this is not serious. This is just fun. But again, thoughts down in the comment box. And while you're looking down at the comments, you'll also find the show notes where it lays out all the other ways you can interact with Zach and I. Our social media links, our Discord server, an invitation to come join us, and well over 100 other fiction fans where we talk about these things all the time. Our Patreon, where you can choose to support us, keep this content coming, and get a few extra benefits like early access to some of our videos. And an email address if you just want to send us something and say, yo. Okay, that's where I'll leave you. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.